So I was getting kind of bored at the house, and I thought it might be a good idea to go outside and take a little walk around and kind of embrace my inner William Eggleston as we talk about what we're going to do for our shooting assignment. So one of the things that I really love about William Eggleston is his work is really just about kind of looking for the extraordinary out of the ordinary. His pictures are about the everyday. They're about kind of what he sees and experiences. He keeps an eye out for those little details in life and composes it in a way where it isolates that thing that's interesting and makes each frame special. It might be just about light and shadow and form. It might be something dirty and disgusting. He explores things like reflections and shadows and the play of light in the afternoon as it bounces off of reflections and reflective surfaces. But what he is most well known for is his use of color. He was really the first significant photographer to work in color. You know, at the time that he was working, it was really all about black and white photographers, and color photography really wasn't established as a medium. And it's really probably the first thing that you guys think of when you think of photography is about color, and looking at Instagram and those sort of things, right? But at the time in the '60s, really color photography wasn't a big thing, and William Eggleston's eye and the use of color and the way that certain saturations played off of each other was really unique. And the prints that he made were these dye sublimation prints, and they were so vivid and so saturated. And it really set the bar for all color photographers that kind of came after him. It might be a little bit difficult to channel your inner William Eggleston unless we really take a little bit of time and look at some of his work. So I'm going to provide you guys with a couple of links with some videos that will talk about kind of the importance of his work. The other thing that I want you to do is a little bit of research about some of his images individually. So I'm going to give you guys a link to the website. It's a gallery that represents William Eggleston and actually sells his prints in New York. And I want you to look through there, and I want you to select at least 2 images that are your favorite pictures. And in this first assignment, we're going to really focus on describing. So there's going to be 3 steps to our critiques that we're eventually going to do. And the first step is going to be to describe what you see. So as you're describing, I really want you to stay focused on what are the facts? What do you know for certain? What do you see in the picture? Nothing can be too obvious. So what I want you to do is once you find those 2 images, I want you to create a flip grid, and I want you to basically explain to me what it is that you see in that picture and really describe it in detail. What are all those things that stood out to you that really made you fall in love with that particular image? So really try to think about sticking to the facts. What do you see? What are the textures? What are the, what is the subject matter? It's not open for interpretation. It's just what is actually in front of you. This shot was for you, John, because you like shoes. So for the assignment, go out and shoot 20 pictures. Look for things that are unique and interesting. Try to channel your inner William Eggleston. Really what I want you to do is to look around, look at your environment. If you do go out and go on a walk or something like that, obviously keep in mind social distancing, but I want you to look for those small moments, for those little areas of interest, maybe something that is kind of mundane, but when looked at in a new lens and approached with a sensibility to color and to light, that there's actually something unique and interesting that's out there for you to explore. And unlike our last shooting assignment, each frame should be different. So we're not bracketing. We're not shooting 120 images of the same thing. Each frame should be unique, showing something different, something that you discovered about light or color. So think about composition, look around. We learned things like rule of thirds in framing. Think of ways that you can apply those techniques to help draw attention to your main subject. Now, if we're thinking about color, it'd be a good idea to really think about time of day. So that magic hour we talked about over spring break would really be important. The lower the sun starts to get, the more warmth and color you're going to start getting. The clouds are going to start picking up that light. So if you can, go out, even if it's in the backyard or even if it's inside the house, try to focus the shooting at the magic hour. So that last hour of sunlight, the sun starts getting low, the light starts to rake into the house or creates, longer shadows, and the warmth is so much more beautiful. So if you can, really try to focus that. Obviously keep the camera with you, shoot whenever you see something that's interesting, but if you can focus on that time, I think you'll have a lot more success with the color, right? Because that's really one of those things with Eggleston we're trying to focus on, is that richness of color and that saturation of that color. So that's our first famous photographer shooting assignment. So again, to recap, watch the videos, learn a little bit about who William Eggleston is, go take a look at a couple of his pictures, do a flip grid to show that what you understand about his pictures and describe those. And then go out, whether it's around your house or in the neighborhood or, if you're on an outing with your family, by all means, please don't go out specifically to do the assignment. You can definitely do it at home. There's no requirement to go outside of the home environment to do this. It's really about looking for those small little details, the mundane, and making it extraordinary in the way that it's composed, the use of light and shadow, and really just kind of trying to explore those pictures. And as you do it as well, also keep in mind, make each frame different, right? When Eggleston would shoot, he was shooting on film, and so as he would go out and he would shoot, each shot would be something different. He wouldn't shoot 5 or 10 things of the same image. He would take his time. He would compose. He would think about what's happening, or be spontaneous if it was something that was happening in that moment, a person walking by for a portrait, and would shoot. So keep in mind those principles, and go out and create your shooting assignment. So another thing to keep in mind with the shooting assignment is, don't try to do it all at once. Don't force it to happen. You've got time to do it. You've got at least a week if you want to use that time or more to do the shooting. I've always said that the best camera is the one that you have in your pocket, right? And so the best thing is, if you're, especially right now, we're shooting with our phones, just keep that with you. And then that way, when you see something and it jumps out at you, or you are out somewhere with mom and dad, or you're taking a walk with the dog and you see something, you have that with you and you're ready to take that one photo of that interesting object.